Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pizza Motorcast. This is Joseph. Today I got on the line with me special guest Bob King, driver of the Gasser car. How you doing, Bob?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So what kind of car is your Gasser?
It's 1956 Chevy, two-door post, blown 496 with a Lenco 4-speed.
Nice. So how long you been driving that car now?
Got on the track August of 2016 for the first time.
And how's the car been running for you since August of 2016?
It's been up and down, a lot of breaks, and tried making some changes over the couple of years. But it runs good. It runs low nines, generally in the 920 range.
So what was the quickest pass you made with that car?
Down in Joliet, Route 66, I ran a 904 at 149.8.
Now you just ran that car at the Out of Sight drags, right?
That's correct, yes. I was there with the Brew City Gassers.
So how many passes were you able to make?
Did a couple of test runs, and then I think I made a total of 6 passes that weekend.
How'd she run for you?
It was really good. It was running it was running 940s and 930s most of the time. Ran I think a 929. I've been kind of testing a new clutch I put in there, and it's been grabbing pretty hard. So I was kind of trying to deal with that as well, trying to get that dialed in.
Now you live in Illinois, right?
Yeah, just west suburbs of Chicago,
But
off in the States.
your phone's just from Colorado still.
Yeah, I spent 6 years out in Colorado with my company.
Okay. So you live out this way. Why don't you just join the Brew City Gassers?
I'm seriously thinking about it. They're a great group. I have a blast whenever I run with them. They're all helpful, friendly, and you show up at the track and they treat you like family. It's great.
Yeah, I love how they all come back down the return road together.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so.
And they definitely bring a crowd, too. That's cool.
Yeah, Mark Davis has a good group there.
Yes, he does.
So now, how many years have you done Out of Sight drag? Since this is the third year, have you done all three?
No, this is actually my first year doing the out-of-sight drags. I did something late with them last summer. They had a fall deal, I think around September. That might have been part of this out-of-sight deal, but it was a Brew City Gasser thing, and Mark invited me to that, and I came back for this, and look forward to actually doing some more racing with these guys.
Awesome. Well, I hope you join them, guys. Be good to see out there more at the Great Lakes Railway.
Oh, it's having a blast at that track. I used to test my other car there. I had a Nova. I used to run up there a little bit and do some testing, and really enjoy it. Great people. They really do a nice job at the track.
Yeah, they're supposed to do a bunch of work on that track later this year. Try to get all the bumps out, I believe.
Yeah, you feel them once in a while.
Yeah, I think they're waiting till the end of the season to work on that, though.
Yeah.
So now, what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer, Bob?
Going fast.
That need for speed.
I love the competition. I actually started out back when I was out in Denver, crewing on a Top Alcohol funny car with Division 4, and that's what really got my interest back into drag racing. I'd go to the races and watch that, but I'd never run. And then I got involved, at the top sportsman level with Top Alcohol funny car crewing, and it really got me. Invested in it, and I fell in love with drag racing since then.
So now, before the Gasser, you've drove other cars?
I built a Nova. The ugly year, it's a 75 with the 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and started out with a small block stroker engine in it, and eventually put a big block in it. I built 468, and it was a nice, quick, low 10-second car running 1020s. I ran a lot of stuff out of Byron, and a lot of times at Joliet, a little bit at the Grove.
Are you going to Byron next weekend for the Glory Days?
Unfortunately, work dictates I can't make it to that one.
Yeah, that would have been a cool event to run.
Yeah.
Be like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 whole days. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal out there.
Now, what made you get into drag racing?
Well, it was actually I was back out in Colorado, and one of the guys I worked with actually was the driver of this alcohol funny car, and he knew I enjoyed motorsports, and I was my mechanical background, and asked me to come talk to the team owner about joining the team, and I started diving on the top alcohol funny car. Basically, I was the bottom end guy. After every pass, you had to pull the bottom end down, change bearings and things like that, and started out doing that. And ran with a few cars out, 3 different cars I actually crewed on before I got this Nova. And then I started doing my own thing with this, started building that car.
Surprised you never got into alcohol funny car or something.
Not too much money. It's a lot easier to be a crewman than one of those, the owner, for sure. The first guy I actually worked for, Jerry Green, who owned the Mile High Express out in Denver, he told me how you become a millionaire in drag racing. You start with $2 million.
Yeah. So what still keeps you passionate about drag racing?
Running my car, and it's something my wife and I really enjoy doing together. She's pretty much my crew chief now. Anytime I'm in the car, she's always there. Make sure my tires are right, get me in the water box where I need to be, and help me be as consistent as possible, because consistency in drag racing is really big.
Now, does your wife back you up too, or you back yourself up?
I generally don't do the big burnout, so she will if she needs to, but generally I do a short burnout.
All right, now, if you could have the fans that come on watch you race remember one thing about you, Bob, what would you want the one thing to be that the fans would remember about Bob King?
Oh, jeez. I love Chevys.
He was a big Chevy guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, grew up with Chevys. My father drove Chevys. Matter of fact, his first new car was a 56, which is kind of why I went with that body style when I bought my car.
So what do you drive for a regular car, Chevy?
I have a Ford Dually. I got an F-350 Dually as my daily driver.
Come on, Bob. You're supposed to have a Chevy.
I know. It runs good, so it was a good price, so I couldn't help myself.
Now, if you didn't become a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing with your spare time?
Probably riding motorcycles. That was actually really my first passion for forever was riding motorcycles, and which actually I traded my Harley for my 56 Chevy. I was riding with my wife in the downtown area of Naperville, Illinois, and we got hit by a taxi cab. And nothing serious, nobody got hurt, but it scared me, and I was never ever scared before on a motorcycle. And just how traffic was just getting worse and worse in the Chicagoland area, I decided, I've always wanted to build a gasser. I've always loved the gasser style cars, and I told my wife, I said, look, I'm gonna do something to sell this bike, and do something in trade for a 56. And I have actually found a guy to trade me for the 56, and that's what kind of started going with that.
So how many years has it been since you've been on a bike now?
Well, since I've owned a bike is probably since 2008.
So you think you'd ever buy another bike again in your life?
Yeah, probably. I just won't ride it as much. I'm just with the way traffic is today, and with people on their phones and their cars, just really makes me nervous.
Yeah, we need to stay out of Chicago.
Exactly. Get out in the country.
Yeah, come out here in Wisconsin and stuff.
Yep.
Now, if you could get any better as a driver, how do you achieve that to get better as a driver? There's a lot of seat time.
Yeah, and just working on my reaction time. It seems like the older I get, the slower I am. And
No, you're not
you
cutting a good light, Bob.
well, on a drop tree, I'm pretty decent. I can usually cut in the teens.
Yeah.
But the other series I run with the Nostalgia Drag Racing, they run off Pro Tree, and that's a whole new ball game. Just seeing that first yellow and trying to get out of the hole, and I'm leaving off a clutch too, so it's a lot harder than like if you're on a trans brake.
So how was your first time experience ever going on a drag strip?
Oh, it was great. It was actually a pretty slow car. I was in my Nova for the first time. I was in Denver, and you're at a mile high, so you basically you lose about a second in your ET for a regularly naturally aspirated car. And I had this little Nova that we put the small block in, and we ran a 1350, and it was thrilling. You can smell the VHT that they sprayed down, and all the tire rubber, and all the fuel. It was great.
Were you nervous at all?
No, not at all.
So how old were you on your first pass down a track?
Well, geez, I'm old. I was 38, maybe.
All right. So now
I'd always been on the sidelines for drag racing. I was always, working on cars. Like in high school when we were street racing. I was always just doing, mechanical work, and I never had a drag car back then or a hot rod.
So do you ever go to car shows with your car?
I've been to a few. I enjoy them. Actually, I got an award on. There's a Elk Grove High School has an annual car show. I won their best in show one year, and I won hot rod category the second time I went. But generally, if I go, I'm going to go to race and run my car.
So now, do you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you when you started drag racing?
Yeah, definitely. There's a guy out of Denver, Colorado. His name is Joe Percoco. He was one of the alcohol funny car drivers I worked for, and he's definitely been a true inspiration to me. He fantastic guy, super hard racer, and really showed me what the passion of racing is all about.
Does he still race?
Yes, he no longer has a top alcohol funny car, but now he runs a fuel altered that basically he runs like a 620 to a 650 categories in quarter mile.
That's cool. So now how about say like NHRA? Anybody look up to an NHRA like John Force? Anybody like that?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of John Force. I also I really like Ron Capps. I think he's a great guy. I've met him a couple of times at the track. There's an alcohol funny car guy who's pretty famous. His name was Vern Motes. He recently passed away a couple of years ago. He was an awesome guy. Someone I really looked up to as well.
Now you said your wife's always been involved with your drag racing, right?
Yes. Yeah, I met her when I was out in Colorado, and actually our first date, we had met online back in the old AOL days in a chat room, and I invited her to go to the Mile High Nationals Friday night qualifying, the NHRA event out there at Bandimere Speedway, and that was our first date. It was a blind date, so I figured if I can bring a girl with a drag race, she's probably the right one.
Yeah. So, do you have any kids?
I have 3 kids, yeah.
So how about the kids? They like drag racing?
They do. My youngest son actually ran that Nova I was telling you about before. And he was really good on the tree. He could chop a tree down. And he ran it quite a bit. He was running like the Super Chevy show when they were running that down at Joliet. And he'd run out Byron a few times. Put my oldest son in the car once, and he got about half track. Car got loose on him, and that kind of he got nervous and said, no, thank you.
Yeah. So have you ever been to Cordova?
I have, yes. Went out there. That was back with my Nova, and that was back in about 09, I think.
How you like Cordova?
Beautiful track, great facility. Ran pretty good there too. They did a great job with the track, and like I said, the people running the place ran it really smooth. I like it out there. Haven't been back. It was just didn't make sense because of the series I was running. The NDRL that I run with is a traveling series, so really none of it was local. So any of my local testing, I try to keep it close, whether it was Joliet, Byron, or Great Lakes.
So if you go testing now, where do you go testing at?
The Grove, definitely.
You're in what, Hoffman Estates?
Yeah. So, which was kind of nice for me, actually, when Joliet was still open. It was, it's like an hour and 10 minutes to Joliet. It was an hour and 20 to Byron, and an hour and 15 to the Grove. So I'm just kind of like in the middle point.
Yeah.
But with Joliet closed, the Grove makes the most sense. They run a great track, so I really like going out there. And and Byron's good too. They have a good facility as well. Just a little bit further drive.
And plus, the Grove is open Tuesday through Sundays.
Oh, I know, it's open all the time. It's great.
Now, when you're out there in the staging lanes, Bob, you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
Just cinch my belts one last time. It's kind of like when you hit the water box, everything else turns off. It can be the hottest day in the world, and anybody that races understands this. And once you get in that water box, it's like everything else in the world turns off. You don't even know it's hot in the car anymore, and you just focus.
Now, with your gasser, do you do any wheel stands with that thing?
I have. I actually, for a short period of time, I put an automatic in the car. I took the Lenco 4-speed out, and just to try and be more consistent, I put an automatic in it with a trans brake. And actually, the first time I launched the car, I went into a really huge wheel stand, went towards the wall. I had to lift. And when it came back down, I actually bent my front end, which kind of ended the year for me. I had to get a whole new front axle for the car.
Wow, that sucks.
But it was wheel standing much better with the automatic in there, just because of the torque converter. The clutch I have in my car is called a McLeod soft lock, and it applies easy. It doesn't take a lot of abuse on your drivetrain when it launches, so you don't have that harsh launch like you will with an automatic. So I don't get the big wheel stands now that I had.
Right. So what do you got on the hood of that car?
It's a blown 496. It's got a Dyer's 871 blower. It's 10.5 to 1 compression. Dart Pro 1 heads. The last time I had it on the dyno, it dynoed 1051 at 810 foot-pounds of torque.
What kind of tires are you running on it?
30-inch wide 30-inch tall by 14 wide 15-inch slicks.
Now, as far as your safety equipment from, where do you get all your safety equipment from, like your suit and all that stuff?
I went through my speed shop. I, used the race clip, I believe it is. I'd have to look at my suit. And I'm just for 8.5 seconds, so I have to have equipment that satisfies that for my suit, my gloves, my neck brace, and shoes.
Do you have any kind of sponsorship at all?
No, none at all. But I do get a really good, I've got a great rapport with A-Team Speed Shop, and he always gives me awesome deals on everything I need. So I always give a shout out to Rob. He always does me right.
So your sponsorship's your pocket.
Yes, sir.
Now, for that car, does it take a lot of preparation to get ready for a weekend of racing?
Uh, after every dozen passes, I like to change the oil. Change the plugs. Constantly fiddling with the clutch because it's an adjustable clutch. So not too much. I like to go over after every race. I do like to go over all the nuts and bolts underneath, just to put a wrench on them, make sure everything's staying tight.
Now, do you do any eighth mile racing?
Very rarely. I do go to an event down in Atmore, Alabama, called the Gasser Blowout with the Southern Outlaw Gassers, and they are eighth mile down in Atmore. But that's just fun racing with some guys down there, and I do that. That's in March.
So, what's your preference, quarter mile?
Pardon?
I said, what is your preference, quarter mile?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, quarter mile for sure. Yeah, eighth mile's it ends too quick.
Now, I know you love Union Grove, but what are your other favorite tracks to run on?
Well, I really enjoyed Joliet. Fantastic facility. When I travel, I go to Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's a great track there. I was just down there last month for the Hot Rod Reunion. And then I've Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio. Is probably the finest track in the nation. It really is. The Bader family is just fantastic. The place is super clean. I mean, they even have a dog park for your pets. That's how nice the place is.
Yeah, I always hear good stuff about that place. He knows how to pack the people in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you can get a pound of ice cream for $1 out there too. That's kind of their thing.
Wow, that sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Now, have you reached any milestones in your drag racing career so far, Bob?
Yeah, I triple zeroed in Joliet with my gasser. I was leaving off the clutch, and that was something I'd never done before, and that felt pretty good. It bought me a buy round as well, and I had a really good outing that day. So that was huge for me. I still have not won a final in all my years of racing. I've gone to a few semis and gone to some final rounds, but never sealed the deal yet, and that's one I'd like to do.
So what's been one of your fondest memories of your drag racing career so far?
Well, it was actually in 2017. I went down to the Tri-5 Nationals in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and there's a pretty famous gasser out there called Night Stalker. Greg Porter out of South Carolina owns the car. You may have heard of him. He's very well known in the gasser community, and I was paired up with him all weekend. It's 2017 Tri-5 Nationals because they consider me one of the fastest gassers to be going against him. And I lost every time to him, but it was the best race I guess I ever lost, but it was just fantastic running against that guy. He's a hard charger, great guy, and it was a privilege to run against him.
So what was the closest you got to him?
He had run a 9:09 and I ran 9:14. So we were just right there, and I was catching him. My car pulls heavy on the top end, and he was kind of running out of steam at the top, and almost caught him, and just couldn't seal it.
So you plan on ever racing him again?
I hope to, yeah. It will probably be actually back down in Alabama. He runs at the Southern Outlaw Gasser deal too sometimes. So probably that's where we'll be down there.
Yeah, so maybe you'll go down there and you'll actually beat him.
I'd love to. That's one car I'd love to beat. But he's a tough customer. He really is a great driver and has a fast car.
Now, throughout your racing career, have you had any accidents or close calls, Bob?
I've had a couple of times. I actually had my Panhard bar bend on me one time on the launch. I didn't realize it. The car didn't. I was down in Joliet, and I took off, and the car felt like it spun the tires and the ass end kind of kicked out on me, and I straightened it out and went down track, and the safety safari waved me down after I got down to the shutdown area, and my whole car. Basically, you ever seen a school bus how they dog track?
Yeah.
When they're
Yep.
my whole car was dog tracking the whole way down the track. I had no idea, and I went through the tracks about 140 miles an hour, not realizing it. But it actually bent my panel bar. My whole rear end was shifted in the car, and it was afterwards that you get that scare. I was like, man, I could have had something a lot worse happen, but fortunately, nothing did.
Wow. Yeah, so yeah, you always learn from your mistakes,
Yep.
But knock on wood, you'll never have any accidents, Bob.
Thank you. Make sure I knock on wood for that one for sure.
All right, so let me ask you some fun questions here, Bob.
Okay.
Outside of drag racing, you have any other hobbies?
Fishing. Fishing with my oldest son.
What do you like to fish for? Bass?
Actually, we go chase muskies up in northern Wisconsin.
Ah. So what's the biggest muskie you've caught?
42 inch.
Nice.
Not real big. We usually get bag a few, but the lake we go on doesn't produce real big fish. They're smaller lakes, but they produce quite a few fish. So we're fortunate with that. But about 42 is about the biggest I've caught.
So you never fish for northern?
You do catch quite a few northern when you're going for muskie because they go for the same bait. So yeah, I've caught quite a few northern.
So,
I actually I think Pewaukee I was up at. I caught a 39-inch northern up there.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you don't bass fish at all?
Yes, I do. There's a local lake nearby here called Bussy Woods.
Oh, I know about the Elk Grove, yeah.
Yep. I'll go fish for bass over there. And I've actually caught a muskie and a northern in that lake too. But mostly bass.
Yeah, they got some good walleye in there too.
I've heard. I've never caught a walleye in that place, but I definitely, like I said, caught quite a few bass, and I caught one muskie, and I caught one northern there.
So what's the biggest largemouth you caught?
Pardon?
What's the biggest largemouth bass you ever caught?
I would say he's probably about maybe 20 inches.
Cool.
No idea how heavy he was. He was pretty fat. It was about 20 inches long, so it's a good-sized fish.
So how many years you been fishing now, Bob?
Well, I mean, I've been fishing since I was a little kid. My father used to take me up. We used to go to Hayward when I was a little kid. So I've been fishing for more than 50 years.
Yeah, then you when you got your son into it, and he's starting all over,
Oh yeah, he outfishes me all the time too. He's out daily in the evening after work fishing out of his kayak. So I created a monster with that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
That keeps you out of trouble. And it's very relaxing, Even if you don't catch anything, being out there on the water is very relaxing.
Absolutely.
Some people say, "Oh, I can't fish, man, because it's boring. I can't sit out there for hours." And I'm like, you just enjoy it and relax.
Exactly. It's all about.
Yeah. So, you said you haven't won any finals yet.
Nope.
Yet.
Yes. I'm overdue.
Yeah. Now, if you'd hit a time travel machine and go back in a time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing?
Start earlier.
You started at 28, right?
I was 38.
38, yeah, that is.
Yeah. I've been heavily involved with motorcycling before that.
Now, if you and your wife, have time to go on a vacation, what's your favorite vacation getaway spot?
She'll tell you mine's going to probably Norwalk. But I think our favorite vacation actually was just a couple of years ago, last year or the year before the pandemic. We had a chance to win them to Niagara and got to cross over into Canada, and that was absolutely wonderful. We really enjoyed that.
Now, when you went to Niagara Falls, did you ride on that Maiden Mist boat?
Oh yeah, yep. We got soaked.
Yeah, I remember doing
Yeah,
that.
we went to both sides too. It was really nice.
Yeah, I did that too. That was years ago though. Yeah, it was a good time though. All right, so Bob, what's your favorite food to eat?
Pizza, probably, or steak.
Steak and potatoes?
Steak, potatoes, or pizza.
What do you like on your pizza, Bob?
Cheese and sausage. I'm a very plain eater. I'm super picky.
Does your wife cook?
She does. Her best thing is probably biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy those are good. How about you? Do you cook?
Pardon?
Do you cook?
I do steaks on the grill, and that's about it. Toast in the toaster.
When you go to the track, do you barbecue?
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do burgers, dogs, steaks.
All right, so on a race day, Bob, how do you nap? Is you eat lightly and wait till the races are done, or do you eat regularly during the day of race?
I don't eat much when I'm racing. I'm usually just drinking a lot of water, just trying to stay hydrated. I wait till the end of the day after it's all over, and then I'll have something to eat usually.
All right, so what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Besides coffee, a lot of water.
Do you drink alcohol?
No, don't drink at all.
All right, so what is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Toss it between The Godfather and Pulp Fiction.
And what's your favorite type of music to listen to?
Rock.
Like classic rock?
Yeah, I'm a hairband guy. I'm a big fan of Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Metallica. Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that's totally different, but I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan too.
Yeah, it really sucked when he, crashed.
Yep.
He was definitely a good guitar player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you like the 80s?
Yes.
80s were good.
They were.
Yeah, Poison, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, all that stuff. Cinderella.
You know it, man.
Oh yeah. So now, have you ever played any instruments since you like rock?
No. I have no talent that
way. How do you know? You could have never bought an instrument and tried to learn.
No. I'm a mechanic.
Maybe you would have made it as a rock star. We don't know.
I doubt it. I can't sing either.
All right, so now, what's your biggest pet peeve, Bob?
Oh, jeez. Not making your bed. That's my pet peeve. I have to have my bed made in the morning.
So if your wife doesn't make the bed, then you get on her on that?
No comment. You might hear this.
Now, how about
my old man told me when I was a little kid, you start your day off right, start off by making your bed.
Now, how about at the racetrack? You got any pet peeves at the track?
Nah, just have fun, be safe.
So what are you looking forward to for the rest of the race season?
Well, again, I think I'm gonna try and hook up with Mark Davis and see what Brew City Gassers will have cooking coming up. I know I'm going to run down to US 41 for Mike Bolina.
Yeah, the green car. Yep.
Yep, I'm going to probably run down to. He has a deal down. I think the end of August, US 41, the nostalgia event out there, and then I'm going to be running the NDRL in September. I'll be running. It's the week after the U.S. Nationals. I'll be down at Indianapolis for the NDRL event down there the week after U.S. Nationals.
Now Mike can do some wheel stands.
Oh, he's the master of the wheel stand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not afraid to do a wheelie.
All right, so I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview. I'm glad we finally got it done.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no problem. I like to support you guys as best I can, give you some promotion. So now, you got any final words or thank yous you want to give out to anybody before we close?
If I could, I thank my wife Denise for everything she does supporting me. You know, again, Rob at 18 Speed Shop, Tinley Park, Illinois. If you ever need something, he's always there for you. And Folk Race Cars out of Rockford. They're a bunch of great guys that do fantastic fabrication work. That's it. That'd be about it.
All right. So, well, if you do come out to the Grove again with the gassers, I'll look for you out there.
Please stop by.
Yeah, I'll definitely stop by and say hi to you and all that good stuff.
All right, man. I got a cold bottle of water for you. All right.
Sounds good, Bob. You have a great night, and thanks again for being on air.
Great. Thanks, Dave.
And
nice talking with you.
And good luck with the rest of the race season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.